Hello and welcome to the Sound Lab podcast interviews, unedited. On today's show we have interviews from Less Than Jake, Crystal Tides, Hana Lili Teo.X3, plus we throw back in time to chat to Seagirls. So without further ado, let's kick off with our first interview from Less Than Jake. They've just released a 25th anniversary record and they're heading out on tour, and we had a chat with them all about it. So Less Than Jake, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad, thanks so much. So the big news is that you've decided to reissue for a 25th anniversary of your record, Borders and Boundaries. Tell us a little bit about the reason behind doing this reissue.
Well, if we keep repackaging it, people will buy it. Consumerism at its finest. And honestly, 25th anniversary, we were going to press it up anyways, but we figured why not put some extra nuggets on there that hadn't been released before. So we've done this a couple times, and I thought we were at the end of finding unreleased stuff, but we went into the vaults and I found some stuff on a CD demos from that time period that we tacked on onto the record. So that'll be coming out with it, and we did some new liner notes and things to celebrate the 25th celebration. Fat Records has released this in the past. I think they did a reissue in 2012 or 2013. That might have been what would be the 15th year anniversary? That'd been 2026. So yeah, we've released it re-released it a couple times, but I think that this might be the last time we say it's a re-release with new stuff.
And obviously it does, yeah. And obviously when you went back to see what else you had kind of put together in that time frame when you were putting this record together, looking back at it, what was going through your minds, do you think, that the reasons why they didn't make it the first time round?
Well, a lot of these it wasn't an issue of making it. So when I say demo, these were like stuff that we had recorded before we went to make the record, like practice recordings. So there's stuff on there that was just really surprising. Went and listened to, and it's like, it had Roger singing a song. I think he was singing the verses of our song "Look What Happened," which I ended up singing the verses for that. But on the demo, he was singing it and things like that. And you're just sitting there going, "My gosh, I have no recollection of this." So it was cool for us. So we thought that some of that stuff would be cool for the fans.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been playing a single off the record, "Look What Happened." Tell us a bit about that track as well.
So yeah, that song was brought in relatively early in the sessions. Roger had written that song, and we ended up recording it for the next record, Anthem, because Borders and Boundaries was recorded for Capitol Records. It was supposed to be our third record. We got dropped. Fat Records picked it up. In between then, the person that signed us at Capitol that had left, and he was one of the reasons why we didn't want to be on the label anymore, he went to Warner Brothers and he re-signed us. And then we went to do the Anthem record, and he loved the song, and both him and Rob Cavallo, the producer on Anthem, loved it and wanted us to re-record it. So they had also, Craig had seen us a ton live and seen that song go over how it did. And it was one of those tunes that, and not every song's like this, where you record it and you go play it live, and it was just instantaneous. You could just tell the audience loved it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the big news as well over here in the UK is that you're coming back to do some shows at the end of February and into March. I bet you can't wait to be back over here.
That's right. Usually the big news is when we get on the plane to go back to the US, but I guess this time they're happy for our arrival, which is fantastic. Yeah, we're going to start in Bristol. And then we have, I believe, 7 shows in total, doing a London stop, Birmingham stop, Nottingham, Glasgow, Manchester, Leeds. Did I get them all? I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I'm looking as well. But yeah, I think you covered them. And obviously you're taking out the Bouncing Souls, the Acrobats, and Barstool Preachers with you. What was the idea behind getting them on this tour?
They all gave us money, and that was basically it. No, I mean, no pay to play. I mean, the Bouncing Souls might play with us for a nominal fee down in Florida, maybe, but yeah, Not in the UK. Man, we've known the Souls and the Aquabats for a long time. We thought it'd be a good bill. It's kind of a different bill. Us and the Aquabats work, us and the Souls work, but do they all work together? And we didn't know what the vibe was going to be when we put it on sale, but people were really excited. Barstool Preachers are from the UK, and they keep writing great songs. They have a new single that's going to be coming out right when the tour starts. I think it's a hit. I actually had him on my podcast to break the song down, and that'll be coming out for the whole month of February. I'm going to give my podcast a shameless plug. Christy makes a podcast. You can go listen to it. And for the whole month of February, we're doing a lead up to the Winter UK, the Winter Circus UK. So Barstool Preachers, I'll break down a song with Tom, their new single. And then the next week it's the Aquabats, and the next week Bouncing Souls. And we end with a Less Than Jake song that I'll be breaking down and talking about. So you can check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. But yeah, to get back to your initial question, we love all these bands. Don't know the Preachers yet, but I'm sure we're going to get on famously with them.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you will. And aside from the couple of Florida dates, there's not too much else booked in the diary as of yet for the rest of this year. Are you hoping to be extensively touring this year, or are you hoping to be back in the studio at some point?
Both. So we recorded some songs at the end of last year that we're gonna kind of throw around this year. There's some different compilation and projects, and some different labels have asked for some songs. So we're gonna toss those around, and yeah, we're gonna kind of put our thinking caps on about doing a new record and writing and putting material together for that. And this summer we have a whole tour planned for both Europe, stuff in the States, and there's some fly out stuff. We have some shows in Canada and different things, but staying busy as usual.
Yeah, that sounds good. And obviously, your latest EP came out a couple of years ago, and a record back in 2020. So is the plan set that you'll be working towards another record, maybe?
Oh yeah, I think that's the plan. I would like to think we'd get it recorded and out by the end of the year, but what do I know? It might be top of next year.
Sounds good to me. I also like to talk about the writing side of things as well, which I don't think I've asked you in the past. So tell us a little bit about how tracks normally start off when you come to writing.
In the old days, we'd be in a room together, just playing the songs and trying to figure them out. And, that gets a little bit harder when you don't all live in the same area anymore. We're all kind of spread out now. So we all have our home studios that we record and write demos together. And, then we'll set aside a week where we get together and do that in the same room together type of sorting out the ideas that we have. But, someone's always sending a song around. Hey, what do you think of this? So we're always keeping stuff, and I'll revisit that. And then there's, it's kind of like the closet that you haven't gotten into and cleaned in years, or the bedroom where you can't stand it anymore. You wake up that Sunday morning and go, I've had it. I'm cleaning this. Well, this is my albatross right now hanging over me. I have probably 300 ideas and voice memos in my phone. It could be anywhere. I'll be in the back of a bus or on a plane, an idea will come. I'll be humming something into my phone. And so I need to go through that, because I know there's stuff in there, and I haven't done that. I think the last time I went through my voice recordings was before we made the last record, Silver Linings. So a lot of stuff to comb through.
Yeah, obviously, I assume that at the time when you kind of recorded these voice memos, you thought, this is great, I need to use this. What's it like when you go back through all those voice memos, and what goes through your head, especially when you think you've had a good one and then realizing maybe not?
Well, it's just like the closet with all the crap you need to clean. So when you start going through it, you save maybe two things and everything else gets thrown in the bin, right? That's the same thing here. I might have 300 voice ideas that I think were brilliant, and maybe two of them are usable. So I have a lot of work ahead of me to sift through all that. It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
And do you ever go further back in time, like even towards the early days of Less Than Jake, and go through those stuff to see if you can kind of reignite the stuff?
I've already mined all that. Although on the last project, Uncharted, one of the singles, Sunnyside, that song, that riff, and was demoed by me in 2004. So that song was about about 20 years old,
Mm.
an idea. So it happens. I was sitting on that riff forever. I always liked it. I could never figure out how to use it in the context of the band. But most of the time, it's relatively new stuff. You know, if it wasn't used before, there was a reason it wasn't.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Less Than Jake. Now, we are all over social media, so come and find us at The Sound Lab, yes, on all the socials. You can also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. So while you go and check us out and give us some follows on our socials, we've got our next interview from Crystal Tides. They've got a new record out this week called Toothpaste, and we had a chat with them all about it. So Crystal Tides, how are you?
Yeah, very good, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Good. Pleasure is all mine. So after this interview, we'll be playing a single of yours called Better Weather. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Yeah, so it's the opening track on our debut album. It's just all about living through the tough days, sort of seeing a bit of light at the end of the tunnel and trying to convince yourself that, like, that 9 to 5 job, you know, that tough bit of work, it's worth it. And sometimes it just feels like it rains on you constantly, and it's hard, but you got to just sort of keep going, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. And as you mentioned, this off your debut record Toothpaste, which is out 6th of February. What can we expect to hear on the record?
It's super high energy, all the sort of trimmings of a normal Crystal Tides recording, but it's I think it's just sort of that step up from what we've done before. We spent a lot of time on it. It's really, really homegrown. It's like a lot of self-recording which has gone into it, so it's not like we've gone to like these big fancy studios to get it all done. We've done loads of it ourselves because we're a completely independent band, and we work on really, really strict budgets. So it's really close to the heart for us. And it's our debut album. Like we're super, super proud of it. So yeah, I'm excited for people to finally hear it.
Yeah, I can well imagine. And the sound that you've made with the record, is it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out as you were writing and recording it?
I don't think we ever went into recording the album with like a sound in mind. I think it was just what songs came about at those given times. Every single song on there means something to at least one of us in the band. They're not like songs written with fake stories, for example. Like each song has deep meaning. So I think we sort of explored the meanings more than we did the sound, trying to make it all sort of sound the same. But I think because we write in a particular way, they all sound like Crystal Tide songs. But some songs border the sort of heavier pop punk route, and then some songs really border the indie route, and then some songs are like quite poppy in the middle. So like it branches in different directions, but it never strays too far from what Crystal Tides is.
Yeah, nice. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto the record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or is it a case of starting afresh when the time comes?
We do. I mean, we've still got songs that we looked at our first ever EP, and we still occasionally look back and think, God, we could probably do something with this. This is actually really cool. And then we never do. We sort of, we look at it and then we go, oh yeah, this is great. Maybe we should try and rewrite this. And then we start writing again and we get carried away with what's new and so on and so forth. But we've got banks and banks of songs from previous that we're sat on, and some of them we think are really good. Some of them maybe not so much, but it's nice to have them there if we ever do want to like do something and bring back what could have been, I guess.
Or a B-sides EP or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
So I do myself. I do a lot of the writing. Like initially, I usually get an idea up together, whether it be a chorus or like a verse chorus type thing. Whether it's on acoustic or like more of a produced idea, and I sort of send it to the band and say, look, what do we think of this? And if they're like, oh, we're not fans, then we sort of stop it there rather than explore it further. Or if they're like, oh, this is really cool, maybe we could change X, Y, and Z, then we all sort of start putting input in from there, and then it develops. Each person sort of puts their own spin on it, and that's sort of what makes the Crystal Tide sound.
And there's a few of you in the band, so when you send that track over to them, is it a case of it needs to be unanimous of a yes, or can you kind of convince someone that actually it might work if the others are up for it?
I think sometimes it can depend on how I feel about the track. So I think if I'm really passionate about something that I'm working on, I usually send it to the guys, and I'm like, I really, really like this. I think it's really, really strong, and that usually puts them in good stead. But sometimes I might be like, I'm a little unsure on this. What do we think? And there's been times where they've all gone, no, this is really cool. Let's work on it. And then we worked on it, and it's turned out to be really, really good. So yeah, it's never like a unanimous thing. It's tough. There's five of us in the band, and always agreeing on one thing between the five of us is very, very difficult. But we always try and do it majority vote wins, and if there's a person that like really, really hates it, then we look at ways that we can change things to make sure that there's elements of it that they do like.
Yeah, for sure. And at that point where you decide to sit down and write a track, what is it specifically that starts things off? Is it a lyric, a melody, a riff, a chord progression? What is it specifically normally for you?
It actually changes, and I think for this album in particular, it's changed for each song. I've started some songs with maybe a lyric in mind. I think that the title track of the album, Toothpaste, I had the lyric for the main chorus just sort of running around my head for weeks, really, before I picked the guitar up and actually put anything to it. And then I sort of developed a chorus and then worked on it from there. But there's some of them I've written lyrics without melody, which is never something I've done before. And then otherwise, I've written songs without any lyrics, any melody, and I've sent them to the lads and gone, what do you think of this? And George has come back a couple of times and said, oh, this would work for a melody for the verse, and then sung something in, and then we've worked on it together from there. So it really, there's no like set way for us. It really, really does change depending on the song.
Yeah, fair enough. You've got a busy few months coming up because you're heading out on tour as well. I bet you can't wait to be doing some more shows.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what this is all about for us. We're not great at the online stuff. We'll be the first to admit, but I think the older I'm getting and the more I see the way music is going, I'm glad of that, because I think music used to be so much about the live shows and the meeting people and the talking to people and showing off your music, showcasing musical ability. Whereas now it's sort of gone into a route of how many likes do you get on your post? How many views do you get on your post? And we as a band are always like, that's not what we're good at. We're good at playing shows and bringing lots of high energy. So when we get to go out on tour, we're like, this is the best thing ever. It's great. We get time away from home, like we get time together. It's loads of work, don't get me wrong, but it's loads of work that we want to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're quite quickly coming up towards festival season as well. What's your festival season looking like?
It's looking really good so far. I think we're at about 9 or 10 confirmed festivals, which is at the moment we're on to be like, this is our busiest festival year to date, which is great as well, because in previous years we've had bits where we've had a winter tour and then we get nothing over festival season, and it just feels like, and then you're waiting for winter again. And whereas this now feels like, right, we've got a massive winter tour straight into a busy festival period, and then hopefully towards the tail end of the year we can pick up some support slots or something, so we're back out on the road again and just keep growing the profile,
Yeah, absolutely. You hoping to go overseas as well at some point?
Yeah, we've been discussing heading out to Europe a lot. We've done one gig in Paris in our time since being a band, and we absolutely loved it. We played to a full room of people. It was really, really good. It's just, I think our agent, our manager, they're working with certain promoters and making sure that the shows that we do get out there are the right shows, because we don't want to travel out there and play to empty rooms, for example, where, like I said before, where we're on an independent budget, getting out there costs a lot more money. So it's difficult, but we're desperate to get out there. The music scene out there is thriving. Loads of people seem to just go to gigs and watch and support up and coming artists. So yeah, we're desperate to get out there. It's just a case of when, really.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Crystal Ties to talk about their new record and more. Now, if you're listening to us on Spotify, then you'll be pleased to hear we also have a Spotify playlist. It brings you 150 brand new up-and-coming artists that we feel like you might just enjoy yourselves. And if you want to check that out, search Fresh by The Sound Lab on Spotify or head to the website thesoundlabuk.co.uk and click on the Fresh playlist button. So while you go and find our playlist and give it a little save to check out a little later on, we've got our next interview from Hana Lili. She's been busy releasing new music. We had a chat with her all about it. So Hana Lili, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad. Thanks so much. So you've been busy releasing new music at the moment. We've been playing Your Girlfriend's a Lawyer. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just a song about a guy who I guess might be a little bit of a liar, and it's kind of a song that kind of teases a lot. It's like, if if your girlfriend knows, then great, it doesn't matter. But if she doesn't, then I'm going to tell her. And yeah, I just wanted it to be just a really energetic song that kind of has that, yeah, just fun edge where you can just really rock out live. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's coming off a new EP of yours called Hannah. It's coming out
Yeah.
17th of April. Tell us about what we can hear on the EP.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of called it Hannah for the reason being I think it's the most maybe myself that I've been. I don't think it's necessarily just honest, because I think I'm always honest in my songwriting, but I think it's the kind of body of work where I've allowed myself to probably just be myself and kind of know that that's enough and not have things figured out lyrically always. And I think that's been actually a really fun kind of journey to explore. Yeah, not having it all figured out, which is fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the sound that you've made with the EP, is it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of just how it turned out as you were writing and recording it?
To be honest, I think it's always a sound that I've wanted to get to. I've always been like, growing up, I was a massive fan of like No Doubt and like Nirvana and Radiohead and those types of bands. And then, recently I discovered bands like, I don't know, Vane.fm, who are like a hardcore band, and kind of taking slight influences from all of these bands that I've been listening to over the years. But yeah, it's definitely been kind of a genre I've wanted to be kind of more solid in, but because I love it so much, and it's fun to rock out, and you can do stupid things like jump off an amp, so
Yeah, that's the best bit, I'm sure, when you're on stage doing that.
yeah.
But this sound that you've now found, do you think that's the sound you're going to continue with, or is there other areas of probably the rock genre that you want to delve into to see if they work for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing actually, because we're writing the kind of next batch of music now and kind of figuring out, actually, I really, I feel like up until now it's been a lot of like, right, how do we evolve the music, evolve the production, evolve the kind of sound, whereas with this EP I'm like, I feel like it's only scratching the surface of what in this rock world that I could explore, and I think I just want to delve in deeper, really. A couple more breakdowns. A breakdown would be nice. I just want to be able to do one mosh pit. That's all. But yeah.
Yeah, a wall of death would be
I would
ideal.
love. I would love. I think that might be an album thing, but who knows? We will see.
Yeah, you've got an aim, you've got a challenge now to get that into one of your songs for that to happen.
Exactly.
One of your
Exactly.
sets. And I'd like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
Differs with every single song. Sometimes there's loads, like within Dress Me, there was loads of lyrics that kind of existed on my kind of phone, and I just spent like hours kind of tinkering around the piano. But then with something like Girlfriend's a Lawyer, the track kind of existed before the song did. And I had this verse idea from probably about a year ago, which was, I heard your girlfriend's a lawyer, bet she works in the city. But it was just really sad. And kind of listening back to that voice note, I was like, it's not a sad acoustic song. we need to stick it on this heavy thing. But yeah, I think basically the overarching thing is I always write about things that I go through or I'm feeling in the moment. And I think as I said earlier, it's been more about not completely having that together, not completely understanding why I feel a certain way, and just allowing myself to feel that way. And I think that's a big reason why I like rock music from the 90s, is it's just, to me, it's such a raw thing. No one has it kind of together, and they're not afraid to kind of be a little bit imperfect. And so, yeah, I find it quite inspiring. I just rambled there, so I hope it makes sense.
Please ramble on. We love it because then it saves me from talking. People want to see you. And with the writing side of things, the lyrics side of things and the instrumentation side of things are two completely different worlds. How well do you find it to merge the two together?
I tend to, when writing, it's obviously if it's a heavy track, I quite like knowing that the production, at least the demo, the heart of it, is going to be what it might sound like. And so sometimes we spend like hours just messing around with chords and the drums and what it's going to sound like. But I think keeping those processes quite separate in the end has been quite nice. Like writing first and not focusing really on the outcome of the production, just the general vibe, and then kind of going into the studio and yeah, just getting the drums and layering that down. I think keeping them separate is quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got some shows coming up with Mouth Culture. I bet you can't wait to
Yes.
be on the road again.
Yes, I'm really excited to be on the road. I want to do a backflip. I'm not going to be able to do a backflip, but I'm making my own clothes, which is kind of a new fun thing that I'm doing, which is a bit safer than trying to learn to backflip for a tour. So yeah,
Little steps, one
little
thing at a
steps,
time.
exactly.
And obviously, this is taking you through a couple of dates through Europe with the guys of Mouth Culture. Is this the start of more touring to come?
Definitely, yeah. Planning the rest of kind of this year now. But I'm excited. I just can't wait to play these new songs live. I just love, if I could live and breathe on stage and just kind of come off for a shower, I'd be happy with that life. So I want to play live as much as I possibly humanly can.
That's good to hear. And we're obviously quite close now to festival season starting. Are you hoping to have a busy festival summer?
I think so. I think, yeah, planning that as well, which is fun. You can see I'm not the one who is planning things because I don't know as much, but yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you've toured a few places now, but there must be places you want to go and play at some point. What's one place you want to go and play?
Hmm. I'd love to. I definitely love to do a headline at some point back in Wales because I'm Welsh and that's where I'm from. It'd be so cool to do a headline show there. Like I have dream venues in my head. I'm collecting them at the moment, like Pokemon cards in my brain. One of them's Coco London. I just think that venue's really, really cool. And I've been to gigs there and I love it. And then, yeah, as I said, absolutely every single country in the world, always, yeah, every day.
Be the second artist in Antarctica to play.
Exactly.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Hana Lili. Now, if you want to listen to all of today's interviews in a shortened and edited form, then you can on our international radio show. It brings you all of today's interviews alongside new music and a live session too, and it's called Future Hits. And if you want to check that out, head to the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk, and click International Radio Shows. So while you go and check that out, we've got our final new interview, and it comes from Teo.X3. He is big in the world of producing, and he's just decided to start releasing music of his own. So Teo.X3, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad. Thanks so much. So we've been playing a single of yours called Sprite. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Well, yeah, Sprite was actually one of the first tracks we recorded for my EP. It was an idea we had several months back. And it really did not fit like into any project I was working on. And I was like kind of a personal song, to be fair. So I kept it for my project.
Yeah, nice. And as mentioned, that's off your debut EP. For those who've not had a chance to listen to it, tell us a bit about the release.
Yeah. So what do you want to know?
Tell us a bit about the sound and the writing and the recording process.
Right. So I don't know, whatever people ask me about, like, what's your sound or like what's the EP sound? I never know how to answer that. Like, I'm terrible in naming like music genres and stuff. I always like, I guess I just produce whatever feels more fun to me at this point. I guess it will fall into like a more broad hyperpop category, but other than that, I feel like it's a spontaneous EP sound wise. Kind of humorous, quirky, sounds fun. Yeah, it came out in November, has 5 tracks. Yeah, I think it's very fun and people should listen to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the sound that you made with this EP, is it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out as you were creating it?
It's a good question. I think it's a combination. Like I always, of course, like I have in mind like the sound I want to go for, but like um, you know, the sound depends on creativity and it's sort of malleable in and as you're creating the songs. I think that was generally what I was wanted to go for, like a more bright, more positive, energetic kind of sound. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And on the EP, you've got team ups with the likes of Tamta and Christian Cherry on the release. Tell us about how you all met and what made you kind of work together for your music.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. First of all, Tamta, I know her for like more than 10 years actually. We met like a couple of years back and we've been working ever since as like as a producer. I've been producing for her releases, and it felt like natural to for her to jump in on one of my tracks. Christian Cherry, he's a part of my songwriting team. I have a team of writers and producers that we're working on like different projects, and Christian Cherry is like a very, very talented artist that it's on my writing team. And when I started like thinking of, I want to do this EP, something on my own, he was one of the first people to jump in like with ideas, and we would just, spend some hours in the studio jamming and writing songs. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. And I believe you've been working in music and music production for over 15 years. How come it took so long for you to release music of your own?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it felt like the right time that I had a story that I needed to tell, and I knew exactly the way I want to present it. So it was never like a plan for me to be a recording artist and like release my own stuff per se. It just happened to like this need to reveal itself to me. So I went with it.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And have you got plans to keep going now with your own music?
Sure, yeah, now that the start's made, I want to carry on. But yeah, you know what? I'm in a mood of like no pressure at all. Like I'm writing music wherever I feel like I want to. But yeah, sure, I wanted to have a continuity after my after the first like release.
Mm, yeah, for sure. And I'd like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
Excuse me, so how a track starts, you said?
Yes, yeah, when it comes to
Um,
writing.
Yeah, it really depends on the track. Sometimes, like a writer will send me a rough idea, and then I'll take it from there, or I will, get inspired by something like either small or trivial, or like something deep that I thought. It really depends on the track, but it's usually like something small that triggers like the rest of the story of its song.
Mm. And when it comes to the story, a lot of people consider the lyrics when it comes to the music as well. How easy and straightforward do you find creating lyrics?
Um, yeah, for this EP it came quite like easy to be fair, because I we weren't putting too much thought into it. We just wanted to like tell a story in a very spontaneous and not over thought out way. So yeah, for this particular EP came like quite fast to be fair.
Mm, no, nice. And I'm sure you'll be wanting to do some shows to show off your music. What's your plans this year and getting out there and doing some gigs and shows?
Well, yeah, this is something we've definitely been planning for some time, like since the release. So I want to do a presentation like party, maybe in Athens and in London. Um, like, maybe we'll have a couple of guests, like some fun DJ sets, and generally like a fun vibe with it, rather than like a straight out concert where people just look at somebody performing on stage. So I want it to be like a hybrid between a performance and like DJs and stuff. Also like at some time we'll be playing a show at Colors Hoxton in March, and I'll be opening for her as well. So yeah, there's a couple of things lined up.
Good, that's great to hear. And I'm sure there's many places you want to go and play at some point. Where's one place on your bucket list that you really want to play at some point?
I really want to play in LA. I've been there a couple of times, and like I've been like tracking my Spotify listeners, and I've seen that like it's like LA is quite high on the list, so it's like really want to perform there one day.
Yeah, good. And obviously being around in music for over 15 years as a producer, but now only starting to release your own music. What's kind of your end goal? Do you have an end goal of where you want to end up?
I don't. No, I just take like small steps that I feel comfortable with and like feel like achievable, and we'll see where that leads.
Good, great.
But like I'm not like a big like manifestations type of guy. Like end of the year, like I want to do this, and it's just like I don't put like this kind of pressure on myself, to be fair.
And hope you enjoyed the interview there with Teo.X3. Now, this is the part of the show where we like to throw back in time, and we're doing so back to 2021, where we had a little chat with Seagirls on their little in-store tour, and this is what they had to say. So, Seagirls, how are you?
We're very good.
Yeah, very good. Just been doing some rock shows.
Yeah. I mean, you were due to be doing these a year ago.
Yeah, we were. So it's kind of long time coming. It's a bit weird, like playing just getting the album out there straight away, and then we're straight on to our other big academy tour and stuff straight away. But I think it's quite fun actually. Just like it's like starting again, and then we get to pitch straight into a big old tour off the back of it, which it's a great way to start live again.
Yeah, it's quite funny doing. Not funny. Funny is the wrong word. It's like
it's hilarious.
So funny playing shows. No, doing like these kind of smaller shows, and then we're like, great, we're getting used to this like couple hundred people, and then it's going to be like then shock to the system. Then doing like the
thousands. Yeah,
I think it's been pretty cool because it felt a bit more intimate. So like some sort of die-hard fans and like lots of people that bought the record and stuff. It's pretty special to be actually doing like this in a smaller way to start
and knowing
off.
how you like to do your sets and everything, you like it nice and intimate and sweaty and
there's nothing wrong with that at all. I like getting sweaty, definitely.
Yes, good. The reason you were originally doing these shows was to promote your debut album, which is now old. What can you tell us about that record before we come on to your next?
That record was sort of an accumulation of everything, all our favourite things we'd done over about 4 years, really up until that point. And I think it had a lot of breadth. There was a lot of sort of story in it. It was kind of like setting out hopeful stuff, and a bit of a bit of life had happened in that time. It was just a display of everything that we thought shaped us song-wise.
Yeah, it was just kind of this is sums everything we've ever been up to that point, which is quite nice. It's like Call Me Out was like our first ever single, and then kind of a few songs dotted through that period, and then a load of new ones, which is kind of how the debuts go. And it's just exciting to have a body of work, like finally like a solid, this is a thing you can go and buy it and hold it.
Just put all our favourite songs basically to that point in the album.
That's the way to do it.
Which is the way to do it, really. Yeah. With the debut, not think about it too. Not making a concept album or anything.
I mean, you've got to think about it now, though, because album number 2 is out in January. Yep. What's this record going to be like compared to the debut and the EPs that preceded it?
It's going to sell twice as many.
We'll sell twice as many for a start. But it was all kind of written and recorded in about 9 months. And I think it's so like laser focused, the themes in it. It's very direct. Like, I think lyrically it's a bit richer telling the story, and it's very focused on basically, sort of written over the pandemic, and sort of lockdown happened, went home, and half the songs are almost like about the breakdown of one relationship and into across the Atlantic. So it reflects. So all the love songs are really about one person, there's a lot of American influence in that, and it's kind of like part of the Homesick album. Title is feeling homesick for that relationship. Homesick is about belonging to something, and the rest of it is belonging to sort of stories that thought about like growing up a lot and like what had shaped us, the places we grew up, and also just we had a lot of time to think about sort of mortality and things like that. So very much like what the sort of quite soul-searching album, this one, and it's a bit more sultry, it's a bit moodier maybe than the first. Yeah.
And your latest single off that record is Sick, which we're playing at the moment. What can you tell us about the track itself?
It's very, as I said with this album, it's so much about the lyrics, and we just sort of let the lyrics shine. Like the chorus doesn't fucking jump up or whatever. Excuse my language. It's really like focuses around the lyrics and just saying everything that I felt to be true in that time.
Yeah.
When sort of everyone's at home, like it became very repetitive life in sort of lockdown and half lockdown world, and just a moment of just being fed up of stuff and fed up of things that I used to find enjoyment in, and I didn't anymore, like the Beatles or whatever, as much as we love the Beatles or whatever. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's like sick of being drunk, sick of being sober, sick of the Beatles, sick of being in love, So I think it definitely encapsulates that kind of, I'm over talking, but encapsulates that kind of claustrophobic feeling that I think that we've all experienced, and hopefully it's a good way to sing it out of it, us coming out of it.
And like musically, it was kind of that felt the one on the album that's different enough to be like, look, we're in business for album 2, but also kind of has the key elements of what we do as well.
Yeah. And with so much time off due to the pandemic, what was it like being back on stage for the first time?
Crazy. Like, so the first show we did back with Latitude Festival on the main stage, and that was the first time we played a couple of those songs ever. And then the first like album show in Manchester was just crazy, because it was literally the first time we'd ever played the album. And everyone was so receptive, and just it was such a amazing crazy show.
And you've touched on the bigger tour that's coming up shortly, which I think is mostly sold out, if not sold out.
I'm pretty sure. I think there might be 2 shows that still have a couple hundred tickets.
It's around there, but you're off to Europe as well.
Cambridge, I think.
Next year.
We're off to Europe,
So I bet you're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, we had an amazing time last time.
That was the last thing we snuck in, literally weeks before the pandemic. It was in February last year? Year before. Last year.
Yeah, we came back to lockdown 2 weeks later or something. Felt like it.
Yeah. So what's the plan for next year? Obviously, the record's coming out. Europe tour. What's the plan then? More touring, festivals? Is that the idea?
Everything I guess we've only done 4 or 5 festivals this year, just by necessity. So I think the plan is, with that album in our arsenal, to go out and smash as much as we can. Really,
it's great to have another album out in January, to just come off that energy of new material. Hopefully, fans will be excited about it. I don't think we've let them down. So we've got something we can put in as much gigging energy as we have previously, and it's just exciting to be coming in with new, fresh material that that we're just so super excited to gig.
Even less songs we can fit in the set, so even more people we can disappoint, basically.
That's the aim.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the aim of life. And you've toured quite a bit prior to the pandemic and stuff. Is there anywhere that you haven't been to before that you want to get to?
Marlborough.
This is our first time in Marlborough.
Finally.
I always wondered what it was like.
How are you finding it?
Because I had no idea. Yeah. And it's really pretty. It's crazy.
It's a nice place.
But other places, there's plenty of places we haven't been. South America, Japan. There's a lot we haven't yet toured internationally.
Bucket list.
I do love doing a UK tour, though. Obviously, it's our home thing. You feel like you're reconnecting with the, with what it is to be a touring band, and how we started.
On this small tour, we've played a few cities that we're coming back to. It's we're coming back next month, and we're going to do a show that's 4 times, 5 times bigger, and it's exciting.
I love seeing like fans that you've seen before a few times at shows. I love recognising people at gigs.
Is there people
and that's
that
pretty
you
cool when that
recognise?
happens in Europe, actually.
Yeah.
When you see the same person more than once, but it's just great in these shows, like coming back, like seeing like you've been to 5 shows. You just recognise.
Do you pick
That's
someone out and
that
go,
bit
I'm
epic.
going to count how many times I see you now?
Maybe I don't count. I should. I'm just so lazy. I'd never count. I just can't be bothered with maths.
There's some who kind of travel round the whole tour itself.
We had someone came to like the first 5 of this little run.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Seagulls from their in-store tour from 2021. And that's the end of the show for another week, I am afraid, but don't worry, we will be back next week. But if you can't wait until then, social media at The Sound Lab ES on all the socials. And you can also check out everything we do on our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. And we will be back next week for another episode of Interviews Unedited. Goodbye.